From disaster tourists to ambulance chasers, why Harry and Meghan's visit to LA has some Angelenos seeing red. Last week, we talked all about the multiple wildfires happening all over the city of Los Angeles. We had some in the Hollywood Hills. We had the Pacific Palisades. It continues. I think the last time I checked, it was only 11% contained. We've lost, at this point in time, I believe the number is 20 individuals to these multiple fires. Some we do believe are arson. Others are, continue to be investigated and they believe are perhaps terrible city management or bad circumstances. It's a mix. I mean, some of the fire hydrants hadn't been checked in a long time. I don't know if I've talked to you about some of the budget cuts. Let's look at those numbers. According to Fox, California Governor Gavin Newsom cut funding for wildfire and forest resilience by more than 100 million just months before these wildfires broke out. Mayor Karen Bass initially tried to cut the LA Fire Department's budget by 23 million, I believe it was, in 2024, but settled for 17.6 million in cuts. She also ordered an additional $49 million in cuts to the fire department's budget a week before the fires started. So there are everybody's pointing fingers at somebody else. At the end of the day, clearly there has to be a very serious investigation about what happened. But Los Angeles is still on fire, is the reality of today and likely tomorrow when you'll see this. Let's talk a little bit about the reaction to Harry and Meghan's trip to LA. Justine Bateman has gone viral for her reaction. I'll tell you about that in a second. But from what we understand, the positive press surrounding Harry and Meghan's trip to LA, we were told that Harry and Meghan were there to console and feed firefighters and victims. Some compared it to what we've seen the Prince and Princess of Wales do in the past. But I would argue that we don't have royals here in America. Our ashes are not your royal engagement. And I don't see any similarities to Harry and Meghan showing up to this random disaster zone to anything that the Prince and Princess of Wales do. So I do not like those comparisons. And knowing the complications associated with the Sussexes' security. I mean, Harry is suing an entire government over security. Why bring drama to an already exhausted situation? You're not experts in arson. You're not experts in wildfires. There were pictures of Meghan talking to firemen with her arms crossed, and I thought, what is she saying to them? That she just is drawn to a certain type color of flower, and then she just goes from there. That line from her trailer. We've heard from numerous sources that out of Montecito that they don't feel like Harry and Meghan contribute to the community. This is coming from their neighbors. But they drive nearly 200 miles to insert themselves in a catastrophic event. Almost 200 miles they were in the car. If I were to give them the benefit of the doubt and pretend I thought they were doing something out of the kindness of their hearts, I would still question why their efforts couldn't remain focused in their own neighborhood. They're a bit of a distraction. Let's focus on the victims. Let's focus on ways you can help. Instead, how many minutes were wasted on shots of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in Pasadena? I just don't understand what their objective was. I'm south of the fires now. We collected new clothing, baby food, diapers, and dog food over the weekend. I can guarantee Montecito is engaged in similar efforts. There were church drop-offs out here. There were high school drop-offs out here. we went to this little restaurant where the owner of the restaurant is from there. So there are different ways you can communicate within your own community, to where you're not interrupting anything, you're not in the way. Um, Inserting yourself at ground zero and rubbernecking amongst someone else's devastation, it's turned a lot of people off. Why is she there? To promote her new Netflix show? What does their presence bring? To some, it appears entirely self-serving. And one of those people that has spoken out against them is Family Ties star Justine Bateman, who slammed H&M for what she believes to be an insensitive photo op at the evacuation center for victims, tweeting, Meghan Markle and Harry are no better than ambulance chasers. What a repulsive photo op they achieved. They don't live here. They are tourists, disaster tourists. I'm going to scroll through this Fox News article really quick and see if there's anything else I missed. But Justine Bateman has been really outspoken lately. She's outspoken against AI. She is, I don't know. I've admired some of the things she has said recently. She just kind of came out of nowhere. Her brother, Jason Bateman, might be one of the most handsome men in the entire world, but that's beside the point. So it says, she tweeted, Meghan Markle and Harry are no better than ambulance chasers. What a repulsive photo op. Are they touring the damage? Question mark, she asked, referring to the media footage she had reposted on the social platform X. Are they politicians now? Question mark. They don't live here. They are tourists, disaster tourists. Now, she was reacting to video captured by Fox 11 Los Angeles, showing Harry and Meghan in Pasadena on Friday, mingling with the city's mayor, Victor Gordo. Fox News Digital additionally learned that Prince Harry and Meghan had opened their home to friends and family forced to evacuate, also donating clothes, children's items, and other essentials to help affected community members. There are some aspects to this where I am like, thank you for donating clothes and children's items, because that is one of the most devastating things. One of the families that I know, they have 3 little kids, and those children have nothing now. But showing up days before the premiere, that has been pushed back, by the way, to March 4th, showing up days before the premiere of your Netflix series, where you are, twirling around in a beautiful green, highly watered garden, being drawn to certain colors of flowers and going from there. That was never going to be a good look. I'm amazed that they postponed it, because she has the worst timing ever about everything. But I understand that Netflix really realized that she was going to be absolutely destroyed if people that live in a similar space have lost everything, and she's trying to make mocktails around a kitchen table that doesn't belong to her with some 1%ers. It wasn't going to look great. It says that Bateman continued her tirade against California officials and how they've handled the wildfires. Speaking to Jesse Waters on Friday, Bateman, who lives in Hollywood Hills, said she was pretty PO'd, I'll say that, with the state of her city. If you're going to run a city or run a state, you have to take care of the basics. And that's to make sure that your fire and police departments are well funded. If you're not doing everything you can to take care of those problems if they arise, then get out. You are useless to us. So that's some pretty stern words. I think these numbers are old, but let's just, according to Fox News and the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, there are 3 active fires burning in Los Angeles. The Palisades fire, 11% contained. I told you that earlier. The Eaton fire, 27% contained, thank God. And the Hearst fire, 89% contained. Over 12,300 structures have been destroyed. over 100,000 people. I think it was over 200,000 people the last I checked have been evacuated at some point in time. There was a very bizarre story, and I believe it was on page 6, but it kind of proves my point that no matter what, Prince Harry will get the good press, Meghan Markle will get the negative press. I don't It's because to me, it's because we grew up with him. We've known him longer. Um, but there was a story about how they were pushing a food cart around and they offered an older gentleman a sandwich and coffee, I believe. And he said he didn't want that. He wanted a donut. And Prince Harry said, well, we don't have donuts, but I can get you one. And he ran off. And I guess between 10 to 20 minutes later, Prince Harry, according to the report, returned with the donut. And the old man said to him, he didn't know who Harry was. And he said, oh, that's so good of you. I'd vote for you if you ever ran for anything. Which I think it was the mayor that actually told that story too. It was the mayor that repeated that story. But yeah, it's interesting how people our media outlets are so quick to um, I guess be kinder to Prince Harry than Meghan. I get it's a sweet story. It's a nice story. I actually, what I will tell you, I think that they are a distraction and their presence isn't necessary. But I would expect nothing less from Harry. Like him running to get that guy a donut. That's the Harry we knew 10 years ago, right? That's the Harry we knew 10 years ago. But disaster tourists is truly what it feels like. There's no reason for that. Why pick and choose on the day of a horrific terror attack in New Orleans, Louisiana, where people they are connected to lost a loved one? Meghan was frolicking on Instagram, relaunching that Instagram within 24 hours, dropping that new trailer. She was forging ahead no matter what. So I do think that she might have received some of the negative feedback regarding her timing there. And that might be why she pumped the brakes when it came to With Love, Meghan, which has been delayed until March 4th. By the way, what did I say to Maureen Callahan? I'm going to tell you really quickly what I texted Maureen about this. Let me look up the old text messages. All right, I said she would definitely look horrible, running through her green gardens, picking her favorite flower color while her neighbors have all been displaced. It's now coming out March 4th. If I were her, I would have pushed for March 21st when Snow White with Rachel Zegler is coming out. There has been so much criticism thrown at Rachel, thrown at Snow White. This is the new Disney Snow White. Rachel was critical of the old one, so like Disney fans were devastated. There were these weird. I think that they used like actual people that were like 6 feet tall to be Snow White's dwarfs, which I don't know if that's an offensive word now, but I'm actually going with the original Snow White language. And I think that audiences did not like that, so then they had to throw in some CGI. But my suggestion was, had she released it March 21st, there might have been such a negative response to Snow White, and people might have been so worked up about Snow White that perhaps her show could have gone under the radar. I've also had people that work in reality TV suggest to me that this potentially is an opportunity for her to re-edit after the feedback about how completely, unrealistic and disconnected she looks. How unrelatable that trailer came off to some people. So I have had some people reach out to me and say perhaps this was their opportunity to go back to the drawing board, make some edits. So this appears to be a little bit more relatable to normal people, especially with so many people hurting at this point in time. So perhaps that was a convenient option for them, uh, deciding to pump the brakes on the release of With Love Meghan, no longer coming out this Wednesday, now coming out March 4th, and that is a Tuesday. Wow, that's a long time to push it back. That definitely does give them plenty of time to re-edit if they want to. We want to see the original. We want to see the behind the. Let's be honest. We just want to see the behind the scenes. We want to see the raw. Okay. We don't want the glossy stuff. We want to see in between. That's what we're asking for, Netflix, for the love of God. If you got to the end of this video, thank you so much. Comment with the crown emoji or the word queen so I can see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And did you think it was appropriate for Harry and Meghan to be in the middle of all this chaos? I'm curious to know your opinion. Leave that comment below so I can see. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.